Manchester United are in crisis again, and this time, it's not just rumours. Reports confirm a 7-hour behind-closed-doors meeting between United's top brass, the same kind that led to Erik Ten Hag's sacking last year. Senior players have been questioned about Ruben Amorim, and serious talks are underway at board level. Is history about to repeat itself at Old Trafford? Let's get into the full story. Manchester United's 7-hour crisis meeting led to sacking as Amorim questions asked behind the scenes. Manchester United chiefs have reportedly held talks with senior players to discuss the current situation at the club, with Ruben Amorim's future still up in the air. The international break has done little to quell the speculation surrounding Ruben Amorim's future at Manchester United. That's in the wake of reports suggesting club bosses have been in discussions with key players to gauge the current mood within the squad. Amorim, 40 years old, is fast approaching his first-year anniversary at Old Trafford, having taken over from Erik Ten Hag in November 2024. However, after guiding the team to a record-low 15th place finish in the Premier League last season, progress has been slower than many had hoped. United hit another low this season when they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by League Two side Grimsby Town. With Amorim's men still yet to secure their first away win of the campaign, club chiefs have turned to certain players for their take on how things are progressing. This situation echoes the circumstances that led to a marathon 7-hour meeting between Ten Hag and his former superiors this time last year. And it wasn't long after the tactician was sacked from his role. Co-owner Joel Glazer, chief executive Omar Berrada, sporting director Dan Ashworth, and technical director Jason Wilcox all convened at Ratcliffe's Knightsbridge offices in London to discuss the state of the club. Board member Jean-Claude Blanc, Chief Operating Officer Colette Roche, and Chief Financial Officer Roger Bell were also understood to have been part of the summit. Ten Hag survived just 3 weeks following that lengthy meeting, and it may not be long before United's top brass are forced to convene once again as issues on the pitch continue to pile up. Berrada and Wilcox are understood to be leading recent discussions between the club's hierarchy and the playing squad. Captain Bruno Fernandes is among those who have been consulted, while other opinions have also been sought. It has been suggested the conversations were casual in nature and not necessarily designed to evaluate Amorim's standing at the club as such. Nevertheless, it is not the sort of activity one would normally witness at a club where everything is functioning seamlessly. United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has repeatedly been compelled to field questions regarding the manager's future. The Ineos billionaire has defended his head coach, indicating he expects the Portuguese boss to remain at the club for the foreseeable future. He has not had the best of seasons, Ratcliffe said on the debut episode of the Business podcast after describing Amorim as a decent bloke. Ruben needs to demonstrate he is a great coach over 3 years. That's where I would be on the topic of sacking Amorim. The remarks arrived amid growing anger from supporters about how the club is being operated. The Glazer family's stewardship of United has remained a significant source of frustration for fans, and Ratcliffe has found it difficult to shift sentiment since acquiring nearly 30% of the club and assuming control of daily operations last year. Oliver Glasner, Eddie Howe, Gareth Southgate, and Diego Simeone are among the managers who have been mentioned in connection with the United position recently. Yet it seems the current boss is staying put for now. Despite overseeing 50 Premier League matches, United's boss, Amorim, is yet to secure back-to-back victories in the competition. The Red Devils have enjoyed a winning streak at home and beat Sunderland 2-0 just prior to the international break, but their away performance continues to be a major worry. Currently positioned 10th in the league and 2 points shy of the top 6, United face a daunting run of fixtures. Over the next month, they'll be squaring off against threats like Liverpool, Brighton, Nottingham Forest and Tottenham. 7-hour meetings, player consultations, tension everywhere. What's your take, Reds? Is Amorim being treated unfairly? Or is this just inevitable after such poor results? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate it out. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more United Vision stories, breaking updates, and behind-the-scenes insight every week. In other news, Old Trafford finally breathed again. Under the pouring rain and enormous pressure, Ruben Amorim's Manchester United fought for their manager's future and won. Mason Mount's roar, Benjamin Šeško's strike, and an emotional Amorim on the touchline. This wasn't just a game, it was survival. Let's break down how United silenced the noise, answered their critics, and gave fans a glimmer of hope heading into the international break. Old Trafford exhaled as the final whistle blew. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0, a scoreline that felt like oxygen for a man under siege. Ruben Amorim came into this game fighting for his job, his credibility, and perhaps his last chance to convince both the board and the fans that his vision still has life. All week, the headlines were merciless. Jamie Carragher called his tenure a disaster. Gary Neville questioned his future. Fans were divided, some demanding change, others pleading for patience. But on this rain-soaked afternoon, Amorim and his players responded the only way that matters, by winning. Mason Mount set the tone early, latching onto a perfectly weighted pass from Brian Mbeumo and burying it into the corner. The relief was visible, a player reborn, a team finding breath again. The energy around Old Trafford shifted instantly. This was a side refusing to give in to the noise. Then came Benjamin Šeško. The young Slovenian striker, often criticised for inconsistency, pounced on a loose ball inside the box to double United's lead. The Stretford end erupted, 2-0, and belief began to creep back into the stands. But beyond the goals, there was something else. Discipline, control, unity. Senna Lamens, making his debut in goal, looked every inch the modern keeper United have been crying out for. Calm under pressure, sharp with his feet, fearless off his line. The Belgian youngster's performance was a revelation. At the touchline, Amorim's passion was unmistakable. Every tackle, every interception, every pass drew a reaction from him. This was a man fighting not only for results, but for his project to survive. After the game, he didn't hide his emotions. "I don't fear losing my job," he said. "I fear failing to win. My only goal is for Manchester United to succeed." It was a statement that hit home with the fans. For all the criticism, for all the frustration, there's something to admire about a manager who refuses to run. Still, questions linger. This win, while vital, doesn't erase months of inconsistency. Amorim's record remains underwhelming. 9 wins in 33 league matches. The system, the shape, and the execution have all been questioned. But if Saturday proved anything, it's that the dressing room hasn't turned on him. The fight is still there. The club hierarchy breathed easier too. With the break ahead and Liverpool next on the horizon, Amorim's job, for now, is safe. There's a sense of fragile optimism around Carrington. If United can build on this, momentum could finally swing their way. The mood among fans? Hopeful, if cautious. They've seen false dawns before. But for the first time in weeks, applause echoed around Old Trafford instead of boos. And as the players left the pitch, Amorim turned to the Stretford end and pumped his fists. It wasn't arrogance, it was relief. The storm has passed, but the clouds still hover. Liverpool away will tell the real story. But tonight at least, Ruben Amorim can sleep. He's earned that. The pressure isn't gone, but the spirit is back. What did you make of United's performance today? Was this the turning point for Amorim, or just another short-term fix? Drop your thoughts in the comments, Reds. Don't forget to hit subscribe. More United Vision stories, reactions, and tactical deep dives coming your way. In other news, breaking at Old Trafford, Amorim's job on the line, but United just got a double boost. Casemiro and Ahmad back in training. Can this save the season? Stay tuned. Manchester United get double boost for Sunderland game as Ruben Amorim selection gamble confirmed. Manchester United host Sunderland at Old Trafford in the Premier League on Saturday afternoon, with manager Ruben Amorim needing a win to ease the pressure on his job. Ruben Amorim has been handed a double boost ahead of the crucial match against Sunderland on Saturday. Amorim is fighting to keep his job as Manchester United boss after the dreadful defeat by Brentford last weekend, and knows another loss could spell the end of his tenure. United sit 14th in the Premier League before hosting Sunderland at Old Trafford, having won just 2 of their 6 matches so far. Having also been knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Grimsby, Amorim knows that he is running out of time to turn things around. Defeat against the newly promoted Black Cats heading into a 2-week international break could trigger owners Ineos to change direction and relieve Amorim of his duties after less than a year in the job. He's won just 18 of his 49 games in all competitions and desperately needs to find some consistency. The returns of Casemiro and Amad could be key for the Portuguese boss, with both back in training on Wednesday. Casemiro missed the Brentford game through suspension, following a red card in the 2-1 win over Chelsea the previous weekend, while Amad was granted compassionate leave after a death in the family. Meanwhile, Wednesday also saw Tyrell Malaysia welcome back into first-team training. Malaysia was part of the so-called bomb squad over the summer, but was the only one of the 5 players not to find a new club. The 26-year-old defender saw proposed moves collapse, and with his contract set to expire at the end of June, is in limbo at United. He had been relegated to train with the under-21s, but has been promoted back to the first team after impressing with his professionalism. The Dutchman has not played for United since January 30th, and has made just 47 appearances since joining for £13 million from Feyenoord in the summer of 2022. He needed 2 rounds of surgery on a knee injury, which left him on the sidelines for 17 months and is now fighting to get back into the team. Malaysia is behind both Patrick Dorg and Luke Shaw in the pecking order, but the team's poor form means Amorim could be tempted to give him an opportunity. He spent the second half of last season on loan with PSV Eindhoven, where he made 12 appearances across all competitions, but is sorely matching match fitness, meaning any involvement could be viewed as a gamble. However, Amad and Casemiro are likely to return to the starting lineup against Sunderland. Amad had started 5 of United's opening 6 games of the season on the right wing, while Casemiro appears to be the favoured holding midfielder alongside captain Bruno Fernandes. Right, your turn, Red Army. Would you start Casemiro and Amad? Give us your lineup for Sunderland, and don't be shy. Savage honesty earns debate. If you want daily United updates with zero fluff, smash subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your score prediction below. In other news, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has made a decision that could see Harry Maguire leave Old Trafford, and Ruben Amorim is already planning for life without 2 defensive stars. Could United finally move again for Everton's Jarrad Branthwaite? Stick around, hit that subscribe button right now, and let's dive into this developing saga. Ruben Amorim planning for life without 2 Man United stars after Sir Jim Ratcliffe decision. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim will be hoping for changes at the club next summer if he remains in charge amid a difficult start to the season at Old Trafford. Manchester United are reportedly interested in Everton centre-back Jarrad Branthwaite as a potential replacement for Harry Maguire. The Toffees rejected 2 bids from United for their defender last summer. The Red Devils' second offer saw them offer Everton £45 million plus £5 million in add-ons, having had a £43 million bid turned down. The Manchester Evening News wrote in May 2024 that Branthwaite was valued at between £70 million and £80 million by Everton at the time. United saw that valuation as unrealistic and decided not to bid for a third time, opting instead to sign Lenny Yoro and Matthijs de Ligt that summer. But the Mirror report that United are still interested in Branthwaite with Maguire set to leave. The former Leicester City centre-back will celebrate his 33rd birthday in March and is nearing the end of his contract at Old Trafford. And it is said that United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe will not be extending Maguire's current deal. Head coach Ruben Amorim is reportedly preparing for a future without Maguire and has concerns about the long-term fitness of injury-prone defender Lisandro Martinez. This could lead to United making another move for Branthwaite, but they may face stiff competition from Liverpool, who are also very interested in the 23-year-old. It remains to be seen whether Branthwaite would be willing to move across Merseyside, but that has not stopped others in the past. However, it is likely to be difficult for interested parties to sign the Englishman, who has a contract at Everton until 2030. Speaking to Everton TV after putting pen to paper on a new long-term deal in July, he said, "I'm over the moon. It's been something we've been talking about since the end of the season, and to get it signed now is something I'm really excited about. The trust the club's put in me and how many games I've played over the past 2 seasons has made it quite an easy decision for me to stay and to keep progressing as a player. I know the club. I feel loved by the players. We've got a good group here, and the fans. Over the past few years, I've seen the impact the fans have on us as a team and how much it means to them. And obviously, with the new stadium we've got here, the new ownership and the new manager, it's an exciting project, and it's something I want to be part of. So there you have it. Reds. Sir Jim Ratcliffe looks set to move on from Harry Maguire. Amorim is preparing for life without both him and the injury-prone Lisandro Martinez, and Jared Branthwaite could once again be a top target. But will United finally pay the price Everton are asking, or will another rival like Liverpool swoop in first? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to United Vision for daily transfer updates and tactical analysis straight from Old Trafford. Meanwhile, in other news, big transfer news today as Ruben Amorim sets his sights on a January move for a Puskas Award nominee. That's right, United could be bringing in Inter Milan star Federico Di Marco, and Amorim absolutely loves him. Before we dive into the full story, smash that subscribe button and join the United Vision family for daily Reds content. Manchester United eyeing January move for Puskas Award nominee. Amorim loves him. Manchester United are now lining up a move for a former Puskas Award nominee, with Ruben Amorim personally keen on the deal. Amorim lining up targets for the January transfer window. The 2-1 victory over Chelsea at the weekend will certainly have bought Amorim some time, but the Man United boss has stressed the importance of carrying the momentum into the next game against Sunderland on Saturday. Should United pick up victories against the Black Cats and Brentford in the following game, their Premier League standing will start to look a lot healthier. But after a slow start to the campaign, the manager has already started to identify potential January targets. After missing out on a central midfielder in the summer, it would make sense to look to improve in the engine room in the upcoming window, and the Red Devils are on red alert over a potential move for Atletico Madrid's Conor Gallagher. Not only that, but Man United are also looking to bolster their defensive options, according to a report from Il Napolista, which states they are now lining up a January move for Federico Di Marco, with Amorim personally very interested in a deal. The United boss has placed Di Marco high on his list of winter targets, given that the left-back would be an ideal fit in his system, while he also really likes the defender for his technical and shooting qualities. The Italian's shooting ability was perhaps best displayed in Inter Milan's clash with Frosinone, during which he scored a remarkable goal from distance, earning a nomination for the 2024 Puskas Award in the process. Revelation. Di Marco could be ideal for Amorim. Given that the Inter Milan defender has regularly played at both left-back and left midfield throughout his career to date, he could be an ideal fit in Amorim's system, which, of course, utilises wing-backs. The 27-year-old was also lauded by Paolo Cando, courtesy of his impressive performances in the 2022-23 season, with the Italian journalist saying, "Federico Di Marco has been the revelation of the season. He started at Inter as a backup and quickly became one of the ironclad starting 11 players. Having averaged a 7.38 SofaScore rating so far this season, the Italy international is ranked as the 3rd best performing player in the Inter squad, and at 27 years old, he could now be entering his prime. Consequently, Di Marco could be exactly the type of signing needed to take Man United to the next level, and they should undoubtedly pursue a January move." So there you have it. Federico Di Marco could be on his way to Old Trafford, with Amorim personally pushing for the move. But what do you think, Reds? Is Di Marco the perfect fit for Amorim's system, or should United prioritise other positions in January? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to United Vision for all the latest Manchester United transfer updates. Glory, glory, Man United.